Hey, welcome to Captive Audience. This is Fabulous Friday, and I'm Sunny Danforth. So I'll tell you, this is not how I thought I would start Captive Audience tonight, but I believe it's an important way to start. I was scrolling through X, formerly Twitter, before I just started, and I wanted to share with you that if you're not on X, get on it because that's where the uncensorship is happening. Okay, along with Rumble. But anyway, Scott Pressler is about an hour ago posted, "Holy cow! Does anybody see what's happening in New York? Hundreds of New York citizens are protesting against an illegal alien shelter in Brooklyn." And this is what we as American citizens have to do. We, instead of, there was many years ago in my lifetime, we've been the silent majority. And truthfully, we have to speak up, suit up, and show up and and push back against what the left wants to do, because it is the pedal to the metal of one world order coming at us and here in the United States. So I just wanted to talk about that. And then also I saw that Tom Fenton of Judicial Watch, which I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later, but on Judicial Watch, but he has posted about the Olympic opening ceremony, and others have posted as well, asking that the countries should pull their ambassadors out of France over this opening ceremony that is all about trans, and it's frankly disgusting. Tom Fenton says Olympic athletes should refuse to participate in the Paris Olympics over the demonic blasphemy. Entire national teams should pull out right now. And what they're doing is a reenactment of the Last Supper that is full of transgenders. And frankly, that is disgusting. This is not about sports. This is about indoctrination, and we're going to shove this down your throat. And this is not the majority of the world. So I fully agree with that. So it's just very interesting of what's going on. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about other things going on. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay. Well, happy belated birthday, Lori. We're happy to have you back. Yeah, happy to have you back. And so we'll catch up with you when you come back. Have a good time. Have a good time. Well, what I wanted to start with tonight was actually Oregon fires. And because Oregon is on fire, it's been on fire for quite a while. And the first story is on the Durkee fire. And the Durkee fire is the largest fire actually in the United States, not just Oregon, but the United States. And this is an update of today that I've just posted there from Elkhorn Media Group. And it is a lightning caused fire. It's about 20% contained, and it's just under 300,000 acres. And location is 5 miles southwest of Durkee, Oregon. There's 565 personnel in the area, and there's 4 task forces. Oregon State Fire Oregon task forces there. And so there's so much going on. I-84 has been closed. It's been some sections opened, and then it goes back to being closed. It's in the easternmost part of Oregon, and it's not good. And the weather that moved through and the rain kind of help it lay down a bit, but now it's not. It says that they've got winds gusting 20 miles an hour and more, and it's just not good. Okay, so the Durkee fire is still going. It's not good. Pray for all of the firefighters, pray for the people. And there's been so much wildlife loss, cattle loss, grazing lands. So it's not good at all. Another fire, so I've got 4 fires to actually talk about. And another one is called the Battle Mountain Complex, Zones 1 and 2. And I'm going to post a link on that too. Or actually, I've got, I guess, 3 fires I'm going to talk about. And this Battle Mountain fire says that last night they were able to increase the containment lines in Zone 1. And that is formerly the Boneyard Fire. And it wrapped the southern edge of the fire from Top Road to Wall Creek Road. And that continues. The Zone 2 is the eastern half of the Battle Mountain Complex. Firefighters are taking advantage of the lower temperatures, which we've had much cooler temperatures here, and are making a little bit of headway with that. And they're holding more lines and trying to, in key pieces, to get a line to minimize acreage there. But it's still... it doesn't have like a containment there on this particular article. There's another fire, the North Fork Owens fire is like 70% contained. And that's that section. But the complex stands at 5% containment. That's not good. That's not good. Now, last night in my area here in Umatilla County, not very far from where I live, in fact, I could see the smoke from my house coming up, there was a fire on Powerline Road in Umatilla County, just outside of Milton Freewater. And that fire is, for the most part, it's contained. Okay. They're still telling people to be on the ready in the area. I had friends that were affected by that fire. And whether you have friends affected by it or not, I'll tell you, it's no fun. I mean, it's high stress. And so in this article, it says the fire is estimated at 1,500 acres with 0% containment. But, and yesterday afternoon, when I was coming home from a meeting, I could see 2 separate fires. Absolutely 2 separate fires. And personally, I believe we have a fire bug going around and lighting fires. No, that is not the Echo fire. This particular one, this Powerline Road, is right outside of Milton Freewater. It's up the Walla Walla River. And so the homes and the people that are up the canyon and in the river. And the Echo fire, I'm sorry, I don't have anything on the Echo fire. I might be able to quickly pull something up. Let me see. Let me see if I can. Because they have some, no, I'm sorry, I can't. And yes, there was a pilot of an air tanker that crashed last night. Very sad. And he was working one of the fires, and he crashed, and he has been taken to the Driscoll Memorial Chapel in John Day. He's not been identified, as I know. And this information came out of Grant County. Sheriff Todd McKinley reported that the pilot had crashed. And it was a single engine tanker. It was a BLM contracted single engine tanker that was reported missing last night, and it was assisting with a lightning start in the vicinity of the Falls fire on last night. And so the search efforts began immediately, and they then found him today. So it's very, very sad. It's dangerous work. Very, very, very dangerous work. Fighting fires in all of it. So let's pray that people are getting some relief with these cooler temperatures, and that they're able to get some containment. And I know that we've got some friends that are over in affected by the Durkee fire, that it's the dang things come back 4 times on them. And, they have a large ranch, and at least large to me, and they've had to fight this fire 4 times. They're quite tired, and they've been dealing with it for 9 days. It's exhausting. Thankfully, they still have their home, and prayers to Susan and Keith and everybody there. It's really, really sad. So, and yes, Bobby, extra major prayers, to all of them and the animals. Fire is devastating. It truly, truly is, whether it's a small fire or a very large fire. It's absolutely devastating. So what do you think? Has trust in the media tanked over coverage of President Biden's decline? I'd like to ask you that. And this is out of Clark County today. And I thought this is very appropriate, because there is so much gaslighting the media, the MSM media, trying to gaslight the people that, hey, Biden's okay. Don't worry about it. He's okay. And truly, he's not. And they're also trying to tell you that Kamala Harris, cackling Kamala, was never the border czar. Well, she was. She still is. There's speeches of Biden, bumbling Biden, announcing it. There's speeches of her accepting it. But yet, it's an interesting psyop that is happening, that the media is trying to get people to not believe their lying ears, not believe their lying eyes, and say, you know what, this just didn't happen. She never was. And our audience, I believe, is going to be all okay with that. But I'll tell you, there's a certain number of people that are going to believe it. And it's just not true. And no, Bobby, you're going to hear that Trump is dropping in the polls. Do not believe it. They're going to try to tell you that, but don't believe it. Let me tell you, the people are with Trump, and that's why the mainstream media is having to work so hard at trying to clear up Kamala and cackling Kamala, and also with Biden, because Biden was missing. There's a lot of things that that we're not being told the truth about, and it's it's just really, really bad. It's really bad. They're trying to say, oh, Trump is backtracking, that he doesn't want to have a debate, where in reality, he says, you know what, let's wait till after the Democrat convention, because cackling Kamala might not even be the presidential nominee. You got to see where it goes. Now, I know that Obama's had endorsed her today, in an absolute setup. So, but that's okay. There's some strings attached. We'll have to see how the players, because this is what's happening now. is all about the big money donors and who they want on the ticket, on the top of the ticket. And so there is, we just have to, and I personally think, well, one, I haven't had any faith in mainstream media, legacy media for a long, long, long time. But you know what? The beauty of it is more and more people are waking up. I watched this video on social media yesterday of a fellow, and he said, you know what? He goes, I owe MAGA an apology. Oh, this video was fabulous. And he says, I owe MAGA an apology because I didn't believe you guys. I believe the other side, but I have woke up and I am with you now. And it's Trump 2024, baby. And nobody's going to try to put me in a box of color or race or whatever and tell me how I need to vote. And I saw that and it is so refreshing. Those things are all over if you look. And that's why I said, get on X, because there is so much. Now, have the Democrats handed over the money? Well, that's a good question. And there's some legal challenges to that, actually. And so one of the things that I was going to talk about is there is a lawsuit that has been filed. I don't have it right here in front of me, but that has to do with they cannot, Citizens United and some Republican parties have filed FEC complaint over the Biden-Harris campaign funds. And so this is so good because they're breaking the law. Even the FEC chairman said, you can't do that. He suspended his reelection campaign before he announced who he wanted to be the nominee. And so when he did that, they can't just go, well, sorry. So now, after President Joe Biden suspended his reelection campaign, and I'm quoting from an article from Oregon Capital Chronicle, and endorsed Harris to take place as the likely Democrat nominee, the campaign officially changed its name to the Harris campaign. That's their FEC, right? Giving the vice president access to $96 million in campaign funds. But they said that's illegal, actually. And Citizens United, a group that has led to the reversal of campaign finance restrictions in a 2010 Supreme Court case, was joined by U.S. Territory, Virgin Islands, and 16 state GOP parties. I hate to tell you, but sadly, Oregon was not one of them. Very sadly, it's like, where the hell is the Oregon GOP in this, which is what I posted when I first saw this story a couple of days ago. And so Arkansas, Arizona, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Maryland, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, and Wyoming. And those are the ones that joined the lawsuit. And this chair of the FEC, he had indicated that Harris might not have access to the funds, pointing to a regulation. And the regulation is, if the candidate is not a candidate in the general election, all contributions made for the general election shall be either returned or refunded to the contributors, or redesignated or reattributed as appropriate. And but because Harris is the vice president, her name was, that's going to be a legal battle. Her name was on President Biden's presidential campaign committee. However, any complaint is likely not going to be resolved before the November election. Have to see, because even the chairman of the FEC says, sorry, I don't know about that. And he has publicly said that It might not, that, this isn't going to fly. And he is getting pressured to, change his tune, so to speak. And so along with this sterilization of the border czar, so today, the extreme House Democrat Val Hoyle refused to condemn Harris's failure in her role as a border czar. And the truth is, since the onset of the Biden-Harris administration, there have been nearly 8 million illegal borders crossing with millions of gotaways. And actually today I heard them talking about nearly, it's like 11 to 15 million. I think they're afraid to tell us just how much. I hate to tell you. And so Val Hoyle is so beholden to the extreme fringe of her party that she can't even condemn the person in charge of the border for breaking the border. November will not look kindly upon them. And I'll tell you, it's absolutely true. They're trying to whitewash and say, oh no, cackling Kamala was never the border czar. But she was. She was. So there's that story there. The feds, this is kind of interesting. The feds warned Oregon officials that a report on alcohol taxes was fundamentally flawed. This thing should never see the light of day. So the Oregon Health Authority, the new director from February of the Oregon Health Authority, came before lawmakers in February and ate humble pie. And it was because this study, they talked about a report of, oh yeah, we should raise alcohol taxes and people won't drink so much. The study proved that statement false, and they buried the study. And so basically lied to the lawmakers. And now, of course, she's changing her tune, don't they all, when they get caught? And changing her tune and saying that, no, you know what, we need full transparency. I think she said, darn, you caught me. We need full transparency. Now it's just crazy. So, we have, you cannot believe what is coming out of somebody's mouth working for the left side of in our state, for sure, in the left side, some even on the right. And I guess it's take it all with a grain of salt and do your own research. It's do your own research. There, the Postal Service is really screwing with the state of Oregon. And I'm going to post this story, and this is coming out of, I think it was Eugene, and that the Southern Oregon postal workers plan a rally over mail-in voting concerns. It's out of the Rogue Valley. And so what's happened is, much like happened over here in Eastern Oregon, the sorting and all of the postal services the processing was done in Medford and Eugene, but now they're pulling it out and they're going to make it all go to Portland, which is what they did for Eastern Oregon. Our mail used to be all of Eastern Oregon was done in Pendleton. There's a big post office there, and it's a beautiful old building, and done there and then redistributed here. Why pay the road and the time of transporting it to Portland and then transporting it back? It's now gotten so bad we only get a mail truck one time a day. And if the highway's closed, like 84 is, it was closed east of us not west of us, but east of us. So those people, those other areas, good luck getting your mail. In fact, yesterday we didn't have any mail at all, which at our house is like very rare. We have mail like every day. So they're wanting to, so now the postal workers are saying, we're going to have a rally and we're protesting. So they're going to protest this because they want to keep the mail processes local. I hope they win. I wish ours would have done that over here in Eastern Oregon, but sadly, it goes over there and it has slowed the mail down. And now, with mail, including all of the vote by mail ballots sent to Portland to be postmarked, well, they don't even postmark a ballot that has a postage paid. You know, they don't cancel it. They use this little barcode thing that's, from what I understand, does not have the month, day, and year on it. Does not have the month, day, and year on it. That's what I understand. And it should have the month, day, and year. So you know exactly when it had come through the post office. And so the union's goal is to return the postmark machine back into Medford and the mail sorting and all of that, and get it all back up and running and not slow down the whole process. Of course, they're doing this just in time for our November election. And frankly, the election officials met. You know, the U.S., our Postal Service here in Oregon had an issue with ballots in our May primary. Yes, they had an issue. They were holding ballots. Well, how are we going to get paid? Who's paying the bill? You know, it's awful. It's awful. Oh, and now here, Bobby says, I'm 12 miles from Portland and it takes a week to get any mail from there. It's ridiculous. Our mail system has gone to the dogs, man. Gone to, sorry, dogs, you know, I mean, I love dogs, but it's gone to the dogs as a saying. So they're just screwing with the mail system furthermore here. Well, I have a couple other things several things I wanted to talk with you about. So this is a real big deal. IP 17, the initiative petition IP 17. And here is, yeah, dogs would be quicker. They go by carrier pigeon, it'd be quicker, you know, I'm telling you, than what we have going on. So this article that I just posted is an article from, let's see, Wednesday. And it has to do, I've been trying to keep my eye on this initiative petition 17, which is the corporate 3% tax, okay? Well, in this article, it says that the chief petitioner states his case. He's saying large corporations would pay higher taxes to fund a universal basic income plan. And it would give $750 to nearly every Oregonian. So in this article that I just posted right there, yeah, I wanted to make sure that I did. He is Antonio Gisbert, a former neuroscientist turned organizer and one-time representative of the American Federation of State and County and Municipal Employees, wants to give you some money. And you know what? Anytime I hear the term organizer, I think of Obama. Obama said, I'm just a community organizer. And what that term now means to me is I'm a communist. That's what that means to me. So you draw your own conclusions. I report, you decide. So Gisbert is the chief petitioner of Initiative Petition 17, which proposes to tax corporations to the tune of about $7 billion a year and give the money to just about every Oregonian, $750 each. And they're calling this The Oregon Rebate. The Oregon Rebate. Oh my gosh, I can see the Oregonians voting for this because they don't know what the hell it is. So it's vote no on the Oregon Rebate, okay? Although it's worth noting that virtually all of the money, $760,000, that this group spent to make the ballot came from California. And one person contributed, a single investor out of Los Angeles invested $600,000. So this is Californians putting a bill on the ballot for Oregon. And people are going to go, oh yeah, I want an Oregon rebate. No on Oregon Rebate. So I just wanted to talk a little about that because in this article, the Willamette Weekly is saying, what's the solution? Well, geez, we're doing our small part in the broader community of people who are trying to make the world a better place. Communism. Why an initiative petition? He says, well, the Oregon Rebate is estimated to reduce child poverty by about 26%. I call BS. He says, so like a family of four getting, $3,000, boom, lump sum. Is that going to make or break your life? It's going to help. I'm not going to say it won't, $3,000. But let me ask you something. People that during COVID that were getting money and income, what did they do with it? Did they actually make their life better? Or did they dig themselves into a bigger hole? I don't know. So this is a big deal, and we have to talk about this all the time. No Oregon Rebate. Vote no for the Oregon Rebate because it is not. This is much like how we got the legalized drugs in our state. The title was very deceptive. So this is the same thing, the Oregon Rebate. No, it's universal basic income, it's communism, and we don't want it. So, and so the Willamette Week asked, is there a model somewhere else in the country for what you hope to achieve? He says, yes, it would be the Alaska Permanent Fund dividend. But you know what? That two of the folks that helped put IP-17 together actually had lived in Alaska in poverty, and both expressed it was a huge help for them in being able to make ends meet. Well, first of all, when you live in Alaska, much like living in Hawaii, it is very, very expensive. And Alaska's money is coming from the oil sales. It's entirely different. It's from the oil. And they're saying, so further on in this article, but this is going to be, the state analysis estimates prices will go up 1.3% if IP-17 passes. He says, no, giant corporations can deduct the tax increase from what they pay to the federal government. So they're not going to pay that much more, if anything at all. But wait a minute. Giant corporations in Oregon pay a bunch. I was going to say a bad word. I changed it to bunch. A blank load of money to the state of Oregon. We have what's called gross receipts tax. We tax you before you've even made any money. That's why businesses are leaving here and businesses are growing broke. In fact, in here, it's quite deceptive. He says, an iPhone costs the same in Portland as it does in Texas. I'll bet you it doesn't. Says there's no difference. So they don't think the price increase will happen. I don't think so. And this has taken them 6 years. This did not come overnight, my friends. It's taken them 6 years to get here. It is, and it will raise taxes. It's on the corporations. The corporations will pay 3%. It's raising 3% taxes on corporations, which means all of our goods are going to cost a minimum of 3%. Goods and services, 3% more. So the corporations that are here, that's what that is. And it is not, it's not a good deal. And so, and he only addresses in this article the federal taxes. He doesn't say anything about what state taxes there are to the corporations here in Oregon. So they've been working on this for 6 years. They were unfunded for 3.5 years. And then voila, some people that had nothing better to do decided to help them. And I do believe, I have not looked yet, but I do believe that they have got their signatures, which is why this has come out. I've been looking for this to see if it has. And Ballotpedia is a very good place to look and see if it has actually made the signatures and going to be on the ballot. So it is a vote no for an Oregon rebate. No on Oregon rebate. That's going to be the ballot title for Initiative Petition 17, as it states in this article. So, we have, Crowdstrike. A bunch of planes couldn't fly. It was businesses were affected. Crowdstrike is a security company, an IT security company, and it's used all over the world. Not everybody uses it. It's tied to Microsoft. Apple doesn't use it at all. And I can tell you, Elon Musk deleted it from any and all of his businesses and devices. But cyber attacks have become truly huge, right? They're really big. Well, this CrowdStrike was really no different. And it triggered a global meltdown affecting multiple critical sectors. And some of those sectors that were affected: hospitals unable to access patient records, surgeries were canceled, emergency services were offline, airports were grounded, banking was in utter disarray. That's just some of it. So, when people, well, it's just in the cloud. When people say, oh, it's in the cloud. Yeah. Keep cash on hand. Keep a pen and paper, because the cloud falls. Things happen. And one time I went to my doctor, and I know I talked about this at least once, if not twice, on Captive Audience. I went to the doctor, and they said, sorry, I arrived at my appointment, 10 minutes earlier than like they ask you to do. And they said, sorry, our computers are down. We can't see you today. I said, well, you know who I am. You know whom I am. I'm just here for a checkup. Wasn't like no big deal. Sorry, we can't see you today. Our computers are down. Well, let's see. You're about to go have heart surgery. Oh my God, the computers are down. Can't help you. The computer does the surgery. We have robots. We can't help you. It's not a good thing. Well, there's things to pay attention to, and that has wider reaches than we might know. So I'm posting that particular article out of PJ Media, and then I'm going to post this other one, because this CrowdStrike article CrowdStrike event also had to do with, now there is a shortage of blood in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho because of that. So, I didn't give it a thought. I'm not on an airplane. It's no big deal. But the more you read about the other consequences of this, as I mentioned, oh, you're going to go have a surgery, Well, the hospitals were unable to access electronic health records. Patient care ground to a halt. And emergency surgeries, critical treatments, even some routine medical care became impossible. And the financial freeze, of course. So what are all the economic losses with it? But what also happened, I'm trying to find it in this story. I had read it earlier, that it caused to have, oh, here's the story. I was looking on the wrong one. Amid a decrease in blood donations over the summer, blood banks in the Pacific Northwest are seeing a steep drop in blood supply after the worldwide Crowdstrike outage. The outage disrupted airlines, hospitals, as well as businesses, and it led to a state of emergency declaration by Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler. I didn't hear that one. But it also disrupted the blood collections in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, shutting down computer systems, which led to delayed blood supply shipments and impacted scheduled blood donations. So, while we think this includes Bloodworks Northwest, which had to cancel nearly 250 donation appointments because of the outage, which accounted for 1/4 of the donations for that day. And so O positive donors make up about 38% of the population, and O negative is the universal donor type, and their supplies are running dangerously low. So, there's things that we don't think that it's affected us, but if we had a medical emergency, it could very well have affected us more than we know. Definitely more than we know. Because I hadn't known anything about that, Well, there is a really great, today, this is a story out of Clark County. Really good. I've got some good stories coming up here. Yeah, COVID doesn't work anymore. You're right. Not at all. And a federal judge ruled for Portland State University professor Bruce Gilley in a free speech case. This is big, big news. So the Institute for Free Speech and Vancouver attorney Angus Lee, who is a friend of Don Anderson, our very own Don Anderson, who's on Captive Audience Wednesday, they brought the case on Gilley's behalf after the University of Oregon's DEI blocked him on Twitter for saying all men are created equal. So here you have a professor just says on the official University of Oregon's Twitter page, all men are created equal. Boom, you're blocked. Well, in a decisive win for free speech, a federal court has granted a preliminary injunction preventing the University of Oregon's DEI communication manager from blocking Bruce Gilley's online interaction with the division's official X account, X formerly Twitter account. You know what? This is a good day for free speech. The left is trying to say, if you don't agree with us, you can't say it. And we have to fight back and say, yes, I can. We can agree to disagree, but my voice counts too. Yours counts, mine counts, right? It's not just one-way communications. It's not that the left has their say on everything. That is not free speech. That is not the right. So this was a great, great story. And the lawsuit originated when the university blocked Gilly from its U of O Equity Twitter account after he responded to a racism interrupter tweet by saying all men are created equal. And you know what? That's very true. The court's opinion found that Gilly showed a likelihood of success on the merits of his First Amendment claims and would suffer irreparable harm without an injunction. So there you go. It's a good win. Is the university going to appeal that? I would think not. That's a waste of time. So we're going to see. Oh, the case is now going to proceed with the preliminary injunction in place. The court has stayed the case for 60 days to allow the parties to explore settlement options. So this basically, they got a temporary restraining order saying, no, you have to let this guy come into the Twitter account, and then we're going to court. Hey, so for 60 days, hopefully they'll settle. And the University of Oregon's DEI, if you're an alumni, I recommend you contact U of O and say, you know what, let this go. Let this go, because this guy needs to have his speech. We're about the First Amendment and freedom of speech. I love that story. And another very good story is Elon Musk. The more I'm getting to know Elon Musk, the more I like him. He, of course, has, we all, not that all of us our ways of thinking have to change or anything, but as we age, as we have more life experiences and are exposed to different things, we might feel one way in a time of our life and then go, oh no, I don't feel that way any longer because of something that's happened. And there's been a few things that have happened in his life that have affected how he is looking at things. But so that's, I guess, I am purposely being a little evasive there. But Elon Musk just had a federal agency ruled unconstitutional. And this is from redstate.com. And it is in a case about unfair labor practices. And so he's turned a small bore squabble about an alleged unfair labor practice into a massive assault on the administrative state that could result in the entire enforcement structure of the National Labor Relations Board being declared unconstitutional. And yesterday, the opinion that was released yesterday ruled that SpaceX, so it was a U.S. District Judge, Alan Albright of the Western District of Texas, he ruled that SpaceX has demonstrated a substantial likelihood of success on its claim that Congress has impermissibly protected both the then NLRB members and the NLRB ALJs from the president's Article 2 power of removal. And the case started with SpaceX firing 8 engineers for circulating a letter criticizing Musk for alleged sexual conduct and claiming the company discriminated against women. And so the decision, so anyway, it's a good deal. And I thank Elon Musk for taking on the National Labor Relations Board. Anytime that we can, and I hear David in my ear, David Darnell saying, we need less government, Sonny. We need less agencies and less government. And so when I read the story, I heard David and I said, yes, David, you're absolutely right. So if we can get rid of the National Labor Relations Board, I think that's good. So we're going to stay tuned and see where this case goes, we don't know. And we don't know. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. Where I think we're a long way away from that happening, getting gone, but we'll have to see what happens. So real quickly, a couple other things. Judicial Watch. You know, I speak about Judicial Watch many times on Captive Audience, and they have today issued a press release. I'm going to post it here. And this one is regarding the Justice Department's. Judicial Watch sues the Justice Department for communications with Biden White House regarding the edited transcripts of special counsel interviews. And, you know, Judicial Watch does a monstrous amount of work with FOIAs, and that's a good thing, because you never know what you're going to capture, as I have talked with Tom Fenton and listened to him speak as well, that they just never know what they're going to capture with the FOIAs, and they might get something that actually relates to something else and whatnot. So good on them for going after this. This has to do with her and that. And then another one that I'm very proud of is Judicial Watch warns Oregon to clean the voter registration lists or face a federal lawsuit. And I've personally have talked with Judicial Watch, with Tom Fenton personally a couple of years ago, and again recently, about coming to Oregon and what the legislators are doing. You know, our Republican legislators' hands are tied because they're in the minority. And it's the Democrat legislators that pass that we cannot clean up our voter rolls. And so Judicial Watch announced yesterday that it had sent a notice letter to the Oregon Secretary of State on behalf of itself, the Constitution Party of Oregon, and an Oregon registered voter, notifying them of evident violations of the National Voter Registration Act of 1993, based on their failure to remove inactive voters from their registration rolls. The notice letter to Oregon serves as a pre-suit notice. And I'm just going to break the news right here that I'm the Oregon registered voter. So I've joined with Judicial Watch in this, and I'm very happy to do that. And so we'll see what happens. We'll absolutely have to see what happens with this. But I look forward to. Judicial Watch has been very successful in helping to clean up other states, and they have sued California, Mississippi, Louisiana. I think it was Louisiana. Don't hold me on that one. District of Columbia, Illinois. I'm reading in this as well. So they've done a lot of work, and Pennsylvania settled in April of 23. Pennsylvania settled with Judicial Watch, and they removed over 178,000 ineligible registrants because of that. And so they've Colorado, Los Angeles, so in New York City. So they've been doing this a while. Kentucky. And so a few years ago, I was at a round table there, and I sat and talked with an attorney that works for them. And I knew that he was with Mr. Bopper, and I knew that he looked at this election integrity and the voter rolls. And we had afterwards, we talked, and I said, when the dinner was over, I said, can I talk with you more privately? And so we sat there with a couple of women out of Texas, and for about 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, uninterrupted. And I'd let him know all of the things that are going wrong with Oregon in our voter rolls and what our legislature is doing, the Secretary of State is doing, and I begged them to come help. And so I am so, so, so thankful that that they are here and they're helping, and I'm happy to be a part of it. So it's just wonderful. So Marjorie, you went to the Washington County Fair. The Republican booth was crowded. I couldn't get in to see what the petition were. I don't know that there's any petitions unless they're fined. Oh, Washington County. Washington County is probably filing, and I will encourage everybody to do this. To if you can get your county or you yourself, if you've got the money, file a statement in the voter pamphlet. Umatilla County is getting ready to do a statement against the ranked choice voting. And we will also be doing one on this no Oregon rebate, okay, the corporate tax, because we need more people putting a statement in the voter pamphlet for those uneducated voters that actually read those things to try to understand what is in there. And we need conservatives speaking out against why we don't want this. You can put in, I think it's 325 words, and a group of people could come together, which is what we've done in Umatilla County. I've sent it out to all the counties in Oregon saying, hey, you want to join us? So Washington County, that's what they were doing. Those petitions, you have to get, you either pay $1,200 or you get 500 signatures on your petition to file your statement in the voter pamphlet. And it's August 27th, I believe. Don't hold me to it, but I think it's August 27th is the deadline for that, because we need citizens, putting stuff in the voter pamphlet to help educate the voters. We cannot keep going. We can't keep going. Somebody's got to do something. We're the somebody. I'm the somebody. You're the somebody. Collectively, we do something. Don't wait for somebody else, because there's nobody coming to save us. Okay. And Marjorie, I'll tell you, I don't know what their booth looked like, but Umatilla County, we put a double booth in, and it's helped us so much by just doing a double booth. And still there's times when there's not enough room to get into our booth, but it has really helped us, and that's what we do now. So, and I am excited to be with Judicial Watch. I love what they do. I love what they stand for, and working with them, it's absolutely my pleasure. So hopefully we'll get that. Hey, I wanted another great story. Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA. He was in Portland. He says, and this headline is, and this is from today from the Oregon Catalyst. Charlie visits Portland to melt snowflakes. And that's exactly what he said in a video call. He says, I go to Portland to melt snowflakes. And the video, which I'm going to post this article here, which has the video in it, in the link here. Oh, Bobby, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. So this is, the video has, in just 3 days, has got 500,000 views. And in it, even so much so that he came here to do melt snowflakes, right? That he actually got assaulted and somebody took his hat. That's actually criminal assault. A friendly debate turns into criminal assault. And that's what the left does. That's what the snowflakes do, because they can't talk about the issues. They cannot express themselves. They're not willing or capable of having a debate. You know what? If you feel this way, Talk about it. Y'all know how I feel because I talk about it, right? We talk about it here on Captive Audience. You've heard from David and Don, myself and Kevin, and our guests, about what we're thinking about. So it's a good deal. But it's up to us. So I like that one. Check out Charlie's his Charlie Kirk. You know what? That man is a doer. He's not a talker. He is a doer. Oregon Republican Representative Lori Chavez DeRemer agrees to 4 TV debates with challenger Bynum. So I'm going to copy this link and put it into here. And that's a big deal. I'll tell you, we've got to get Lori reelected, because that is who the Republican nominee is. And we want to hold the seat. We want to keep that 2 Republican congressmen. I still just call them congressmen. I know she's a congresswoman, but it's congressmen. And so there's going to be 4 debates ahead of the general election. And so let's see if they are. One is hosted by Portland TV station. One is hosted by a Bend TV station, and one live streamed debate hosted by an organization with a print or radio news outlet. And boy, I'll tell you what, I'd love to have them come on Captive Audience. So it's going to be Chavez accepted debate offers from Central Oregon Daily and KTVZ, both based in Bend, as well as K2 and Coin, both based in Portland. And the 5th Congressional District stretches from Central Oregon to the eastern edge of Portland across the Cascades. So Nick Traynor is a senior advisor for her re-election campaign. And so be on the lookout for that. And I'll tell you, support Lori Chavez DeRemer. Yeah. And in the funny, not funny news, and it's more the absurd news, Oregon Wildlife. I talked about this once, but this is, they updated this story on Wednesday that I did not talk about it on Wednesday. And this is Oregon Wildlife, ODF and W. They want you to let them know where roadkills are. They want your help in tracking roadkills. And what's hilarious, this is an LPB article, so you can just imagine that part. Here's a woman taking a picture of what looks like a dead skunk on the side of the road. Oh my God, a roadkill. We've got to track it. We've got to track it. Nothing good will come out of this tracking, first of all. And as I was traveling with my mom, we were driving somewhere, and I was telling her about this story a few weeks ago when I first covered it. I said, Mom, there's a raccoon. Let me just snap a picture real quick and send it to ODF. Oh, wait a minute. They probably want me to stop. And so my mom got a kick out of that. She says, so drivers, don't take your eyes off the road, but take a picture of this roadkill right here and mark where it is on a map. We want to know where things are crossing the road. Oh my goodness. I mean, a skunk, hello? Are we having shortages of skunks? Nothing against skunks. You know what? They're so cute. And yes, they stink. But a new program lets drivers send photo evidence of spots that are especially dangerous for animals. Yeah, little skunks just don't make it across the road, And oh my word, this is nothing will come out of this for the citizens of Oregon. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. So, yeah, the Boy Scouts wanted to know so they can make hats. Yeah, that sounds fun. Well, I'll tell you, you guys, I want you to have a great weekend. Thank you for joining me today. And this has been long, and I know, and I appreciate you sticking with me, an extra long episode. But there's a lot in the news, and there's just things I wanted to talk about and cover. And if you've ever got any questions, just ask. We're here, and share the message. What? We hit a cow on the way to Fred Meyer tonight. Oh, we just, oh no, oh no. Your car is destroyed if you hit a cow. I'm sorry. You didn't get the pick, right? Oh, goodness. Hey, thank you. Thank you, guys. And all of you. Spread the message, spread the word, share a captive audience with your family, friends, and neighbors.